go up here on the Facebook. All right, we're on Facebook Live as well. So if you want to see this on Facebook, I'm on there too. You're already here, I get it. And today I want to talk about the uh, the FAA interview. Was one of my first calls with a lot of people. So today I just want to go over it real quick and had a good session with Nairma, but with a student that is getting into the process now. So um, he's an engineer mindset, so he had a lot of questions, and it made me feel like I need to discuss, talk about certain things. Okay, if you, I'm Jose Zaragoza, with founder of Military Maintainers Transition Program. No, this is not the sex change process. I'm talking about when you make the switch from the military side to the civilian side, where it can help you make that transfer from using your own skills that you already have into the civilian side, and with skills that you already come, experience you already know, and using that to your advantage and leverage those into the civilian side. So I started this nonprofit to help you with that, to help you with, like, this particular guy, he got out already and he's a veteran. So if you are an employer, um, you know, reach out, and if you want to sponsor a whole class or a person, reach out to me. Let's have a discussion. But the main purpose is to help you ultimately get connected to an employer, and you have a fulfilling career after the military. Because I've been on the flight line a lot, where so many guys get out, or they don't get out, but they want to get out, but they don't know what their options are. And that's what I heard a lot, and this is what made me go down this path. Okay, so I'm Jose. I'm here to help you during that phase of your life when you go from the military to the uh, civilian side. And I'm also an owner of Code on Maintenance. And yeah, of course, we're going through some changes, learning a lot like you would in business. Business is not always, fun, and it's not always a good time, uh, but it's very rewarding for you to see you get your license, so that way you go on and be successful in your civilian life. Because unfortunately, you can't be in the military your whole life, and I want to see people succeed. And you already have the skills, you already did the work. Now let's leverage that into the civilian side. So the very first step is the FAA interview, right? So there are the first people you got to talk to is the FAA aviation inspector, aviation safety inspector. Okay, ASI is what they say. So these guys are your gatekeepers. Okay, so imagine all your hopes and dreams of the AMP is started here with this guy, with this person. So they're all different. Okay, they're all gonna some of them might want a short and sweet answer. Some of them want, your blood type, your your social security. I think actually you have to give your social security, but they want to know your experience. They want to know everything. Okay, paperwork, backing it up, everything. Okay, so I wrote some notes here to keep track of it. Just proof that you actually work on these airplanes. The wrench time, the hands-on time, and it's not an official FAA term, but that's what they're looking for, right? So 18 months for one rating, whether you're going for the power plant or you're going for the airframe. 18 months of hands-on experience. Okay, and let's see, logbooks, and if your documentation looks like a nun's dating history, which is mostly blank with a few sad entries, then you're not going to get approved. Okay, that's not having documentation. It's going to get you denied for authorized to test, because this is not where you get your AMP. This is where you get just the forms to say you get to hit. You go take your test. Here's the forms. Go test. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is, and they care about that practical experience and how long you've been doing it. All right, so let's see, put in hours. So a lot of it's going to be just paperwork, checking your paperwork. And I used to build packages for guys to ensure that whatever made this inspector super happy. And if this inspector gets the warms and fuzzies, that they can believe your story about your real aircraft mechanic, then you know they then you're gonna be good, right? And if you're trying to get by lying to the inspector, they're gonna sniff that out, right? Like it's like, you know, if you're lying about your height on your Tinder profile, they're gonna find that out real quick. That when you show up, you're not 6 foot or higher. You're gonna get denied real quick. Okay, so usually we can tell guys right away too, but talking to them, what's their experience? They're not looking for somebody who was running the snack bar because you're a POS, right? They're not looking for somebody that was just supervising, right? Or sitting behind a desk or looking at people with their tools. You're not going to get approved for those things. So they want actual wrench time, right? Turning tools, removing, replacing, getting dirty, getting greasy on a plane, okay? So they want documentation for that. You gotta have, most likely 99% of the time, they're going to need to look at your documentation. So have that ready, and the question I get all the time, what exactly do they need from me? Do they need this? Okay. So what I always tell everybody is, first, your very first step is to talk to the flight standard district office. Call them up, email them, and ask them, hey, in a quick short summary, like, hey, I am a crew chief for 4 years. I've done this and X and Y. Don't list all your entire training records. Just saying that I have experience in airframe and power plant, and I'm looking to get my 8610-2 forms so I can test for the AMP. And what would you like from me to show you proof? That's it. Don't make it all freaking novel, okay? I know you guys like to put everything in because you have to put all that in. Don't do it, okay? Just real quick, because he's gonna set you up with in an interview, most likely, okay? Or he might say, just turn in these documents X, Y, and Z, and boom. I don't know if it's correct or not if he does it that way, but just give him what he's looking for so he can sign you off. And if he asks you for interview, but that's okay if there's an interview, okay? They just want to make sure in person, right, that you are legit. You're not lying, you're not lying on your log entries or your documentation, not like, it's like, showing them your Tinder profile, right? So it's not lie about it. Let's be honest, because then if you lie about it, you're going to have some bad ones come through. All right, so let's see. Bring the paperwork, yep, and explain to them that, just walk them through. Like, hey, my experience, I've spent, 10 months elbow deep on replacing engines, taking out those cannon plugs, removing, nuts and bolts, X, Y, and Z. I know how, and that's what they're gonna know. They're gonna know as soon as you tell them, hey, explain to me what hydraulic system is, right? And I was like, yeah, and you got these palms, you got the reservoir, you got these palms, you got these little metal lines going to landing gear components. There's sensors here and there. It's like they just want to know that you know what's up. Okay. And, um, you know, like how do you read manuals? Okay. I read it like the Bible. Okay. And except I actually read it. So that's they're gonna just making sure that you are legit. That's the whole point of it. So don't get all tensed up, like you're going on your first date, okay? It's not like that. You've done the QA stuff, you've done the having to be inspected. So um, be professional with this guy because you might have his feelings hurt by some of your comments and he might deny your thing just because he wants to be a butthead. We there's sometimes there's unfortunately those type of guys out there. So be professional. We've had guys get denied because they were too arrogant, and I've had to kind of intervene. Well, I don't know if it's the right word, but had to go talk to them that, hey, what's going on? These guys are saying that X, Y, and Z, and what is it you're looking for, right? And I was like, I just need documentation that he's done this work, right? I don't care if it's on a dinner napkin. I just need his commander, his supervisor saying that he's done X, Y, and Z. And that's easy. Okay. So, and in that conversation, I've heard people be arrogant, like it's given to them. That's a fast way to not get what you want. Okay. And what happens is that if you go in there arrogant, they're going to be more difficult. So be professional, be polite, and answer any questions they may have. Okay. So show them that you do have skills, show them that you do have, and if you want more in depth, if you're curious what some very good possible questions they may be asking you, if they want to grill you, join school or AMP school. It's skool.com/military-maintainers. Okay. Join there. Comment below here if you want it. Comment AMP. I'll share the link on there. I wish I knew how to do this on live stream, how to comment, but I don't know. So just reach out to me if you're on YouTube. If you want to message me on Facebook, facebook.com/Code One Maintenance. I can respond there too. Okay. Um, let's see if I have any friends on Facebook making any. Nope. It's freaking crickets on there. All right. So appreciate you guys being on here. My few friends that I have here. Let's see. Yeah. Dress like you give a damn, button up, no grease stains, show up like you respect the process, not like you just crawled out of a wing spar, right? Inside of a fuel cell or at the belly of an aircraft, okay? Like I said, you've done this before. Be confident when you're going there. Don't be arrogant. Prepare like you're gonna date the FAA. Show up on time, smell nice, don't oversell, and you can get ghosted, pretty quick, right? So, if you have to rub one out before you go there, clean the pipes and stuff like that, do it so that way you can stay relaxed. Okay, that's if you're too fidgety, to me, it's gonna show me that like, oh, this guy's questionable, right? Like usually guys who know how to turn a wrench, they know, they can be pretty confident on that job, right? So don't be, just stay calm, just chill. Like they're just gonna ask you about certain jobs, and you don't have to be 100%. Just because you miss a question that maybe if you ask you what's a flux capacitor, sorry, I don't know the answer to that one. Okay, and but it's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to be 100%. You don't have to be 70%. Okay, so just chill, and I hope that's the last part. It can take 5 minutes. It can take 15 minutes. I've done a couple of them myself. I've sat in lots of them already, and usually they go pretty quick. And the people who get denied is a lot of times they didn't provide enough documentation. They went in there arrogant, so they made their interview a lot more difficult. Or, like I said, they just need, if, and it just depends on the inspector. If he wants more documentation, provide it. Try to do it before you get there. Have all your documentation ready to go, send it in a zip file, whatever the case may be. Um, just ask them, hey, what would you like from me? How do I send it? If you got some old guy in there and you send a bunch of files separately, forget about it. He's gonna say you crashed his computer, and that's actually happened to me. Uh, I would like to hear if any trouble that you may have had. Let's hear it. Post on here. If what kind of stories you have from the FAA. What kind of I've heard all kinds of stories, right? I'm just fortunate enough that I've had a good experience. For the most part, I have good experiences with most of the guys, and I just talk to them professional like human, right? Uh, I'm trying to get stuff done for guys, so I try not to uh, be a burden on them, or I don't try to make it worse for them. So please be professional, super important, and bring documentation with that, and just come in confident. Those things are going to help you not get denied by the FAA. Okay, so if you felt this has helped you, smash that like, and before the FAA denies you, reach out to me. I can help you, come up with a plan with your situation. Trust me. Yes, it's just you getting an FAA, but you might be just a crew chief. But even then, it's not always a given, right? I'll build a strategy for you personally, and just reach out to me on Facebook or on LinkedIn is a good place too. LinkedIn is probably number one on the social media apps that I can reach out to people. And again, if you're looking to get your A&P done at your pace online, go to school.com/military-maintainers. That's the best way to do it for free. We got studying all the questions and answers of all the sections. We have oral questions. And then if you want to join a group of us, that's going to be a little more. Just reach out to us. Let's come up first. Let's get your tickets first, okay? And so let's save your A&P dreams, and let's get started on the right foot, okay? If you think this was helpful, share it with somebody who is looking to get their A&P, because there's quite a bit of them. And pulling chocks right now, this machine is taking off. So comment below, if you've had some funny or horror stories about the FAA. I'd love to hear it. Thank you. Have a good night.